If you hit somebody out here on this road with your truck, you better not run. It is not worth the trouble of trying to run from an accident, man. Even if it was something small and there turned out to be no visible damage. Do not run. You cause more problems for yourself. You're more likely to go to jail if you run versus stopping and handling the situation the way that you're supposed to and not going to jail but being free to go about your day. So don't run if you get into an accident. Even if you bump somebody, don't do it. It's not worth it. You don't know who you're dealing with today. You've got people now that will take matters into their own hands. And that situation could turn out to be very fatal for you. So is that the risk that you really want to run? Look, anyway, soapbox, I'm done with it. Here's an example of something that happened to me probably about 4 or 5 years ago now. I went out to a port a few years ago, back probably 4 or 5 years ago, named Port Hueneme in California. If you know anything about ports, you know that they have their own rules and regulations for certain things. So much so they've got their own police force 9 times out of 10. And if they don't have a police force, they got a security force. They've got cameras everywhere. They see it all. Well, I was coming up to an intersection where we were supposed to stop, a huge area with markings in the road that said stop, because there's a huge building to the right with doors that have these massive forklifts and trucks that come in and out all the time. So you want to really heed those directions. Well, I came up, I did this one by the book, man. I came up, I stopped, I left distance from the front of my truck to the bar in the road, the white painted line, and I'm looking, look left, look right. I stopped for about 3 seconds. I see there's nobody there, okay? I go to take off, and out of nowhere, this dude in this blue little Chevy Silverado came up, and as I'm taking off, I caught the back of his truck. And I know this dude felt his truck fishtail. He had to. He could not have not felt it. He's got damage, I've got damage, and he took off, dude. And I'm pissed, I'm mad. I'm fuming because I'm like, I did everything that I was supposed to do. This guy came out of nowhere and just took off. I'm like, well, I need to follow him. So I get in it, I'm following him, and he's rolling, man. And I'm rolling right behind him. I didn't care. Okay, I'm on a horn, I'm blowing a horn, trying to get him to stop, flashing my lights at him and everything like that. And he's got this massive dent in the side of his pickup. I know he saw me following him. I know he heard my horn. Well, I get up to an area and he makes this turn down this way that it was a one-way. So, and it was a one-way to a dead end. So he had no way of really figuring out how to get back. So I pull up, I block that entrance, I shut my truck off, I jump out, and I'm on foot running after this guy. Because we're still on the port, by the way. I get to him, I'm knocking on his door. First question out of my mouth, because I'm mad. I'm madder than hell. I'm like, are you out of your mind? And he's like, oh, well, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, get out of your truck and take a look at what just happened. And he would not, man, he would not get out of the truck, dude. And I'm like, I'm not even here. I'm not here to put hands on you. I don't want to fight you because of this. Definitely pissed me off. But you got to see it to believe it for yourself, man. We were just in an accident. You didn't feel your truck fishtail? You couldn't. If you didn't feel that, dude, if you didn't feel yourself get hit by my tractor trailer, you must be some kind of intoxicated. I tell him, I'm like, look, man, if you're not going to get out, that's fine. You at least need to flip this thing around and come back because I need to get the police here. We need to get this figured out. We get there, we go back. I'm fired up, man, because now he's got all his buddies that came out of nowhere. All union workers, all port union workers come out of nowhere, and they're just, oh, well, you know, you were wrong for blah, blah. What, you didn't even see what happened, but you're covering for your buddy because you know his job is at risk. That's the whole thing about union workers, man. They all stick together. If there's anything I admire about a union worker, the unity is there. It's all in the word, union. They all stick together. So police show up, they get there, and they're like, well, what happened? I'm like, well, you can see what happened. Look at his truck. Look at my truck. We made contact. I stopped at the stop intersection where I was supposed to. I know y'all have cameras here. Check the cameras. Not even the police wanted to check the cameras. I can't make it up to you, man. And the only thing that really saved me was my contractor at the time. I called them up and I explained what happened to them. And they're like, well, I mean, it's been happening a lot. That port is notorious for people getting into accidents, and they never want to claim fault for. Nobody wants to claim fault for it, but they never want to take responsibility for something like that. And they have a problem with showing camera footage, which is why they didn't want to show or even pull the footage for that incident. So I said, man, you know what? Screw it. I reported it to the insurance company, and they wanted me to pay a deductible for it, to get my bumper replaced, painted, the hood needed to get repainted, all of this stuff. I'm like, dude, you've got to be kidding me, man. 10 grand to get that job done. And they wanted 5,000 of those, $5,000 they wanted out of my pocket. Not happening. It wasn't happening. So after some fighting and some fighting with, getting insurance companies to cooperate, things like that, they ended up paying for that deductible that I was supposed to pay. So it got taken care of, got my truck back, I was good to go. Do not run, man. Don't run. Don't do it. Because you don't know who you're dealing with out here on the road. You don't know if that person is armed. You don't know if they're dangerous. You don't know if they've been having a bad day. And they might be out to, make your day fatal. You don't want to deal with that. On the topic of getting into fender benders and accidents and things like that, one key thing to note, okay, when it comes to trailers and things like that, trailers are going to suffer from some kind of road rash. Even the nicest trailers out there are going to suffer from some kind of road rash. Okay, whether you're turning down a neighborhood or something like that, or on a road where the trees overhang and they stick out a little bit further than they should, and the side of the trailer is going to get caught or swiped or scratched up by tree limbs. The truck might be susceptible to it too, but trailers are an exception. People bump trailers all the time. It happens at truck stops. It happens at shippers and receivers. The key thing to keep in mind about trailer rash is this: that trailer still needs to be able to function the way that it's supposed to. Cosmetic damages are gonna happen. All right, hinges. If hinges get broken off or damaged, then there's a problem. Okay, if they get damaged to the point where the door can't open and it cannot function the way that it's supposed to, then you have an issue. Bumpers getting bent, ICC bars getting bent or bent out of place, as long as it's not so grossly out of place or bent up or bad, it's not an issue. You need to have the ICC tape that needs to be there, and then you also have to make sure that the bumper is present. Lights need to work. The ICC bar needs to be there with the ICC tape. All along the side of the trailer, that ICC tape runs from the front to the back. All of the lights that are on that trailer need to be functioning and working. If there's any damage to the wheels or the frame or anything like that, all of that stuff needs to be noted. Hinges and the latches and the cam locks for the doors need to be working, and they need to be functioning the way that they're supposed to. Most of the time, a lot of people are not reporting damage to a trailer for cosmetic reasons. The trailer needs to still function. As long as it functions and does what it's supposed to do, a lot of people are not going to really care too much about the damage that is done to that trailer. Now, these guys with these big pretty reefers, different story. All right, all chromed out side panels and painted trailers and stuff like that, that's a different story. You hit that person's trailer, you're gonna be paying some money. Keep that in mind, folks. Don't run away from fender benders. Always do the right thing, man. Go back and have a conversation with that person and talk it out. And if calls need to be made, then calls need to be made. If they don't need to be made, reevaluate whether they need to be made or not. Y'all be safe out there, man. You get into an accident, definitely make sure that you stop and you talk to that person about it. Don't just go running away, dude. don't do hit and runs, man. That's not what we're all about. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video with someone that you know may be looking to get into trucking or switch industries and maybe even quit their job. Okay? I appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
Get it, 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 get it,